This is for every like super attractive woman.
Hey, yo, what's up with you, girl? What kind of girls are we talking about?
Power builder built thing. Like it's just not, it doesn't stink of like superhero.
Are you okay?
Huh. That's pickup. The rest is a pickup masterclass. Folks, what's up? Dr. Mike here for Renaissance Periodization, aka RP Strength. This is Chris Williamson. He's like a vlogger or something. Some guy on YouTube. He has a podcast, I heard. There are two things good about this world. One is to be approaching an as yet unconquered land and drawing the old Union Jack and the
talk to me about
sword
imperialism
and the rapier.
Yeah.
And the second thing is a back workout with shoulders and stuff in it. 3, 2, 1.
Fucking
action.
go! I mean, this is
intractable.
This
is an intractable problem. If you can open this, Electrolyte Max, you folks make absolutely great product that I can't access. There is no product as far as I'm concerned. Crystal, can you open this? I got
the
a little...
most emasculating thing in the world. This is the, can you get that jar for me, honey?
Yeah.
But in reverse.
Oh, yeah.
Look at that.
Thank you so much.
No problem.
These people have tiny little hands, little fingers.
These people.
All right, let's warm up with some pull downs and then get into some pull-ups. But for pull-ups, we'll go into the other room since I'm basically too short to lift in this room.
Too short?
Yeah.
To reach the bar?
Yeah. I don't jump.
I have to say, the like really getting into the nuances of controlling the rep. Let's say that you've got the eccentric portion of the movement as like a spectrum from the beginning of it to the end of it, that as you get toward the stretch, you want to basically discriminate your control toward that. So for instance, with this movement, you can actually get the first half of it. It's like, and then you really sort of turn the brakes on in that. And that like pacing within that eccentric portion is something that I've been working really hard on.
It makes it safer because at the very stretch of the eccentric, it's the high risk position. It also makes you intent on contracting the muscles to produce force through the muscles you want, because we know that both the eccentric phase and that stretch component of the eccentric phase is what grows fractionally more muscle. So when you're growing the most muscle, you might as well be like really cognizant and moving the thing very diligently.
And also not dialing in when you're at this position and like locking and holding and holding and holding.
Sure.
When you've got a little bit more.
Sure.
Yeah.
But you definitely want to be, even from the get right off the chest, you want to be mindful about not just letting the first 6 inches just go. You know? 3 inches. 2 warm-up sets done. 12-8. A set of 2 to 4 reps will be done on the actual pull-up implement in another room. Rest, and then 3 sets of pull-ups close to failure, sets of 10-ish or something. Let's do it. But first, Chris talks to random hot girls in the gym. That ain't me, because your boy doesn't look like that. I can't talk like that. My fucking threads aren't this threaded out.
Dude, between your shoes and this t-shirt, we've got like Burning Man in an outfit.
Oh, I don't have enough dust on my body, or entitlement, or a lack of understanding of how economic systems work. All right, couple reps here on the pull-up. The idea here, I used to try to do extra credit and reach real high up, but that top part of the contraction may not be as stimulative to muscle growth as like the bottom half, bottom third. So I'm really just trying to get my chin roughly to bar height. That's a completed rep. But the big deal on these is to come up athletically. And then as soon as your chin hits, you gotta control the eccentric all the way down and a dead hang between each rep.
You're so gracious. Your dismounts are so gracious.
Yeah. Dun-dun-dun.
Hey, I got a pair. Look at this shit. Are yours branded?
No.
Mine are branded. I'm more RP than you.
These are my travel pair. Beautiful, Chris. Control all the way through.
Oh, I kind of want shell shock. Because it's so cool.
You're like, after the war is over, you're at the fucking club, and this bitch is like, so like, were you like the war? And we're like, yeah, bitch, I've got shell shock. He's like, oh my God, is that something like can secrete through your cock into me? And you're like, I fucking think so. Yeah, let's fucking try it. Oh my God. Ah. That's pickup. The rest is a pickup masterclass. You learned from me what not to do. You learned from Chris, just be really good looking and smart and fashionable. And then that's fucking, you're well on your way. But honestly, now that we're talking about pickup, which I have, again, 0 negative qualifications for, how you look, dress, put together, this whole bit is like super important if you're female. Because if you're female appealing to a male, like, you know, the 1st and 9th filter is how you look.
Right.
If you're male, because a lot of males have the mental model of a male, they assume that attraction is reciprocal, males and females. They'll be like, oh, I just have to like get a good cut and shave and be smart and stand with my Jordan Peterson will just stand with your just chest straight out, just tell the world, just no more bully me around. And that doesn't matter nearly as much as the presence with body posture, facial expressions, tonalities of voice, eye contact, mannerisms, flow in the conversation, status, of course. I assume here status is implied by those many things. Because you could talk to a guy, if you're a woman, you talk to a guy at a club and she's like, so like, what are you? Like, are you like special or whatever? And you're like, I'm just some guy. But you really come at her hard. She's like, oh, well, let's just like, oh, fuck. That's how I think it happens. All right, here we go.
Come on, dig in. Come on. Good shit.
Yes. Beautiful.
So you were saying before about guys look at girls and think all that they need to do in order to attract me is be attractive. Therefore, in order for me to attract women, all that I need to do is be attractive.
Apply the same rules.
So
guys have a theory of mind.
It's called a failure of cross-sex mind reading in the
literature.
literature.
Trippy. Very interesting. Very direct.
Of cross-sex mind reading. So my favorite one.
I would say all mind reading has failed, as it's impossible.
But this is a specific theory of mind.
Yes, of course.
So my favorite one is the overestimation and underestimation bias of attraction. So smoke detector principle. For a man, it is perilous for your future progeny to not perceive attraction when it might have been there.
Yeah.
And relatively costless for you to perceive attraction even though it's not there.
One skeet later.
Yeah. So men in speed dating, when you ask how much do you think that your female compatriot was interested in you, will consistently overrepresent how much they actually are compared with what they were. And women will do the opposite. So women underestimate how much men are attracted to them.
Really?
Yeah, it's one of the most reliable failures in cross-sex mind reading.
I see, again, I just committed it in my own head because I always thought at least, are we talking about, what kind of girls are we talking about?
I don't know.
Because it depends. So here's another, so this now begins the politically incorrect part of the rest of this.
It didn't begin at the beginning?
Yeah, no, it really did, didn't it? I happen to think that one of the most important, formative kind of background environments that shape many ways in which you relate to humans when you grow up is how attractive you were when you were younger. Because it threads you into a lot of expectations and a lot of the world will conform one way or another to you.
So it's like the source code of your self-esteem.
To some extent.
Stuff just builds on top of that. You've got this sort of weird old code that you can't get rid of because you've got this huge architecture now on top of it.
For sure. So one of my hypotheses would be that women that are considered objectively less attractive, and there is such a thing on this in the statistical data. That doesn't mean for every single person. But you know, you get an average of 10,000 guys ranking women, you're going to get some agreement. Women on the bottom end of that, in my view, is they're going to have a different way of anticipating their perception, how other people perceive them, than women at the very top of that. Maybe. Although I have seen some women at the very top who have oddly low self-esteem about their looks.
Here's what I think is a pretty accurate perspective on that, which is very attractive women never get to experience reality.
Yeah, the reality is quite different.
It's just this distortion field as they walk around. So the same thing is true for a very famous or rich man.
Yeah, me.
The same thing is true for men. Maybe if you're like uber super good looking, like fucking Brad Pitt or whatever, like that might work. But yeah, I think for women, for super attractive women, they just never get to experience normal interactions. Other women treat them with hostility out of nowhere, no matter how demure they try and dress. Men are never able to, like you said it before, we were stood there and you were like attractive women just warped my ability to be me. And even if guys try their absolute best, they're like inside of their head, this is for every like super attractive woman, even the most confident guy, if you're like a really, really attractive chick, inside of his head is just thinking, you're so hot, 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 don't look silly, don't look stupid, don't fuck it up. Like, even if they're just like trying to serve you at Starbucks or whatever, the first thing that comes to mind is like, fuck, you're hot. That's it. So they just never get to experience reality normally. So I think that's why they have this weird sense of self-esteem. It's the same for strippers. Strippers only ever see men when they're at their worst. They see them cheating on their partner on a fucking bachelor party. They see them drunk at 4 a.m. They're lying, they're deceiving, they're using money to get what they want. And attractive women, I think, are basically in a not too dissimilar situation where men are no longer able to be themselves.
Their complex selves.
Yes.
They get reduced down to this like, oh God, oh my
they're in
God.
like 360p resolution. Come on, young Michael. Dig it, come on.
Slow. Beautiful.
Oh, not lean enough to do that. Not lean enough. Keeping the fucking lines on. Nah, we'll get away with this though. We can come back in here once we finish.
You're gonna finish up? Oh. You ready for a masterclass on how to get laid? Hey, yo. What up?
What up?
What's up with you, girl? I'm asking you, bitch. What you trying to go? Bitch, I swear to God, I'll tune you the fuck up. You know how many steroids I've been taking today? Just to get at you. We either gonna grapple or we gonna grapple, you feel me? Which one you want?
Grapple.
Hell yeah. Done. Cooked. 15 fucking seconds, your boy's in. This shit is too easy. That's why I quit the fucking game.
The World Speed Fuck Championship.
That's it. Oh, here's another thing. You want to try to... Women, they're really involved in media. They love media. They consume a lot of it. So you got to try to weave in media when you talk to these hoes. You feel me? Watch this. Like, hey, you know that one song by like Kendrick Lamar? It's called Like That. Yeah, you like that? Hey, bitch, you like that? Cooked. Finished.
Oh.
Let's go do pull downs. One more good one. Fuck yeah, slow. Control, deep stretch. Beautiful.
Oh.
Feeling something?
You doing 20 of that after those pull-ups is fucking absurd.
Well, I am a fat fuck, so.
Talk to me about the difference in quality of life, mind, mood, thoughts, given that you're now getting out of diet mode.
Yeah. So if you guys saw Chris and I have a vlog with Jared. That's what Chris calls these things, these training videos. He calls them vlogs. With Jared, we did one on Chris's channel a few months back. And same gym. And I was on just about a gram and a half, 1,500 milligrams of total gear, total steroids per week. And as of now, I'm on 250 total per week, which is high-end testosterone replacement therapy. Gets me into that 1,000-ish range nanograms per deciliter. And I feel more serene. I don't have as many thoughts of violence, vengeance. I'm not as anxious. And so my mental space, I'm smarter, sharper, quicker, more compassionate. I feel a broader spectrum of emotions. My ability to empathize is greater. Basically less of an extreme masculine brain and more of a normal brain. Balance, more balanced.
Which is exactly what you want.
Yeah, I did run some pretty decent doses, anywhere between 600 and 1.5 for about a year and a half with not so much break. And I had some semi-permanent changes to my behavior and thinking that I'm just working through now. So it's a big part of my process now.
Are you working through that physiologically or therapeutically or it's like...
Mindfulness.
Yeah, okay. Yeah,
just thoughts arise that I'm like, this one ain't it. Let
so
that
what you've
pass,
done
move on.
So are you thinking that you've laid down some myelin sheets that you just want to prune a little bit?
Yeah.
Right,
yeah, a ton.
But this isn't, so my point was, you don't think that there's some like physiological, fundamental lock-in of a thing, which is going to be irreversible beyond doing a bit of mindfulness and
At
whatnot?
age 40, with what we know about behavioral genetics, it's highly unlikely. So at age 40, what mostly changes is thought patterns you implement for decades can change you on the margins. But most of what you have thought pattern-wise reflects two things. One is your genetics, which tend to become more expressive over time. They explain more of the variance over time. So you kind of grow into the person you were supposed to be. And the other one is individual life circumstance. So if my leg got cut off, I'd be approximately more irritable. But the baseline of irritability is mostly genetically laid. So after about a year and a half of cooking my brain with gear, yeah, I've got some fraying, but every week it gets better.
Cool. I'm glad to hear that. I didn't like seeing you battling, even though that was like for something that you cared about or whatever. Like,
sure.
It made me feel, I don't know, like vicariously fucking upset.
Yeah, it's like, what the fuck's this guy doing?
But yeah, like, I don't want my friend to be fucking sad or whatever.
Sure.
So
turns out your friend wanted to be sad.
You actually elected. So he's the dickhead that chose it.
For real.
Come on, Mike. Come on. Come on.
Good. 3 more. Control. Control. Eliminate that rapid motion. Rapid down, slow up. Slow. Yes, just like that. Beautiful.
So this is how Dad loads the plates, knowing that Son is going to go at some point soon.
We might use the same load. Not a lot of plates around.
Same load.
I usually like blowing them, not loading them. I just have one set of row because I'm trying to re-architect my physique a little bit. Now that I'm done pushing the crazy size extremes with tons of gear, etc., I'm trying to get more aesthetic. Now, more aesthetic is relative, folks. I'm not aesthetic, but I want to become fractionally more aesthetic. I'm going to be doing this in a few ways. One is I've started to emphasize a lot of delt work, side delt specifically, and a bunch of forearm work. And my forearms actually already have, like, visibly, to me at least, gained size. Chris is like, eh. And then biceps and triceps, of course, because having bigger arms always make the physique better in sort of the 99% of all cases, and more aesthetic. I'm training my upper chest hard. I train my lower chest minimally. I train my width for my back a ton. So tons of vertical pulling and lat prayers, very little rowing. I've also inherited a physique from my older version of myself that was like side to side, thick as fuck. So just maintenance is way easier. And so just one set of rows twice a week keeps all of my back thickness that I need and lets me take that fatigue and push it into vertical pulling to get my lats nice and wide for a slightly bit more of an aesthetic look.
I have a theory about the arms thing that we can...
Hypothesis. But in any case, pedantry aside...
It's a fucking notion.
I have a notion. I haven't even couched it in formal terms. I love it. But I'm also
Don't
just...
taxonomy pill me.
That's right. All these pills we're supposed to be taking nowadays. I'm training my calves very hard because calves are quite aesthetic when combined with the rest of you. And I haven't trained my legs with anything other than mobility work for jiu-jitsu for the last 2 months. And I'll only be training my legs during maintenance to get them to grow back up and during fat loss phases. And
I have so many questions. You need to do this because I have too many questions.
Yeah. All right, so I'm just gonna get right into it. I'm already pretty warm. This should be just fine. Let's get hurt.
Come on. Good shit.
Oh,
Feeling it?
feeling it. I'll take one plate off for you.
Cool, we'll see how that feels.
Sure, I think it'll feel just fine. Two more. Big stretch. One more. Huge stretch. Good. Slow all the way through and then wrap. Slow. Great stuff.
I've never seen that before.
Yeah.
Yeah?
It's an upright row with a cable, same as any other, but it almost completely eliminates axial fatigue bearing down on your spine. And thus it makes the rest of your program work better because you're less tired for all that kind of shit.
Given that we've got a 2-hour podcast to do later on today, probably a good idea.
Whatever. Podcasts are easy. You just get on and you go blah, 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 blah. I don't even know what I'm saying half the time.
So I have questions that are plaguing me because I wasn't able to ask them. What is the truth and what is the bullshit when it comes to muscle memory? And where does that come from? Is that hyperplasia? Is that fucking like some weird cell memory bullshit? Like what's going on?
The likely majority of the effect, the mechanism is satellite cell incorporation. So your muscle cells have a nucleus and all of the other material around them, like the contractile material that actually does the actin myosin shit and crunches the cell together. And the nucleus is kind of the thing that's in charge of upkeeping the rest of the shit around it. And so if your nucleus gets too big, that's like having a city that starts out with a 50,000 population, grow triple. But the same fire department, same trash services, same mail, it just can't keep up. And so at some point, if you want the muscle cell to get bigger, you need to incorporate new nuclei. You take a nucleus from just outside of that muscle cell, and they're usually chilling, they're called satellite cells. Satellite cell has a nucleus, but not a lot of contractile material, really hardly any. And so it's just chilling, like smoking just mad fucking blunts, doing nothing. But it's got its fucking, it's, you know, like its Boost mobile phone, it's got it like right here, just like, and then when your muscles get big enough, and the hypothesis is that they reach their myonuclear domain ceiling, which is like when your mailman gets back and he's like, I ran out of gas trying to drive to the end of town, I can't deliver this mail. Like your nucleus is now so outpaced by the muscle around it, the tissue around it, it can't actually do its job anymore. Some kind of signaling ends up telling the satellite cells that, and the satellite cells incorporate into that.
So does it make the nucleus bigger, or do you get two nucleus?
You get two nuclei.
So is that hyperplasia?
It's technically not hyperplasia because hyperplasia requires taking one nucleus, dividing into two, and a whole cell dividing into two, and then dividing.
Functionally, sounds not that.
It's real similar. Yeah, it has a functionally similar effect.
Science.
See. And so what ends up happening is, hypothetically, you know, your satellite cells can regenerate so fast, but they do regenerate. And so as your muscles get bigger, more of these nuclei come in. And so the nuclei determine the rate of muscle growth to a huge extent because they're the place that gives the messages to manufacture that machinery. And so when you have lost a bunch of muscle, it looks like even years later from the studies, you have functionally the same number of nuclei that you had incorporated from all of your years of training. So if you shrink down, they're just chilling. The nuclei are the same, but the cell materials around the actual contractile tissue has receded away. So when you start training again, you have like the greatest fucking genetics for that muscle of all time. Not only does it come back in weeks to months, but the amount of maintenance volume you need to do to keep it the same size is very, very small.
I might hit the top here, so you're gonna have to.
You're good. You're good.
You're definitely good then.
Yeah, because I'm shorter. That's a funny joke.
Yep.
Fucking asshole. Control all the way through. Control. Good. Good. All the way up. Beautiful. How many was that?
16.
16. So we have 3 more sets. You have to do 16 in each one. If you can't, rest at the bottom, take a couple breaths, do extra until you get to 16.
Okay.
So mine is at 100, yours is at 80, okay? And I got 22, so I have to do 22 again. You'll watch me rest if I need it between this.
Dig in. Come on. You got this. You got this. Yep. Yep. Come on. Yeah, boy. Oh, yeah.
Shit.
Oh, yeah.
That was easy. Great, Chris. Those look awesome.
So, same question about muscle memory, but with fat. So I remember reading some fucking degenerate forum in university 15 years ago, and them saying that you never get rid of fat cells, they just shrink down.
Yeah, it's probably true.
Okay. What's the fucking...
So if you've been really fat before, unless you get liposuction and skin removal surgery, you're probably at greater risk. Well, let me put it a different way. Getting fat again would be much easier for you.
Wow.
Your appetite signaling wants you to come back up and fill all those fat cells back up again.
Wow.
They're screaming hormonally, fill me back up. Like the girls you deal with at the club. Fill me up, Chris.
Come on.
It's my little cheating shortcut for my match here. I don't have to get up. I just perch on the quads.
Yeah.
5 more.
Come on then. Here we go. Yep. Hey, beautiful. What I would love for somebody on the internet to create would be a glossary of all of the different terms that are used by spotters and training partners to encourage last few reps. Dig in. So Johnny and Youssef from Propane Fitness.
My favorites.
We went to a lifting meet. Johnny held the national
bench press record.
Deadlift.
I'm kidding, I know who he is.
Fucking long arms.
Yeah.
And the best one that we heard at this entire meet was somebody from the back of the room shouting, "Start the campaign."
Whoa, cool.
Fucking Trump
the first cannon shot across the lonely
Start
front.
the campaign.
Oh my God, that's
Brilliant.
great.
In like working class Northern British.
Oh, the best.
As well. Yeah. The only way to start the campaign.
I mean, fuck, seriously. 16, Chris, let's go.
Ooh.
Beautiful.
Not using Vertigrips was an error there.
It was an error.
Fucking
nice. Well, you got it. We got forearms
Look
after
at the
this.
fucking absolute tumor pump that I've got going on here. What would be, okay, so give me your Hall of Fame final 3 reps of last set, spotter. Like, what are you wanting to hear? Like, what's in there?
Well, there's a difference between what I've been exposed to and what I want to hear.
Okay.
But I've been exposed to with Jared a lot of, come on, Mike. Come on, Mike. Oh, yeah. Those we can't say. I liked, come on, let's do something. Wake up. Finish. strong.
One of mine is big, followed by whatever the muscle group is that you're training.
Yeah, sure.
Big shoulders. No.
Big cock.
Fuck's sake. Come on. Yep. Hey, beautiful. Beautiful,
Last set
beautiful,
coming up for you?
Yep. Fuck. Totally, we're just surplus to requirements there at the end.
You look like a guy from Southampton that got
wait.
burned and then
everybody shut the
whatever
fuck up.
this is.
You made a number of comments so far about the particular color scheme that I chose today.
Yeah. To wear colors that you only used to be able to get on a highlighter. Your green and blue combo here is like you zoomed into Google Maps a little too early for the pixelation to catch up. Like a marker, you were like, hey, render this in a t-shirt. And this is like lake and then trees. But you're now seeing, but in pastel, which is the best kind of shit. Anyway, I did.
The reason that I chose this fluoro color is that it makes you look more tanned.
What's fluoro?
He's right.
Fluoro,
Fluoro?
Fluorescent.
Oh, I see.
that one.
But it's kind of like a sad fluorescent. It's not even so fluorescent. It's like it once was a bright and shiny fluorescent thing.
Are we really doing the fashion battle between the two of us here?
Motherfucker, I built Milan.
I think the main thing we can take away from the session so far is
does Chris really look tan? He doesn't look tan to me.
I do look tanned.
Tanner than me.
Well, we got the whole spectrum.
Right. Okay, let's not use that word. Okay.
Okay, but I'm on it.
What's next, Mike? I want to lift more.
We're doing forearm curls because these can never be too big.
What's
Okay, well-
tomorrow?
It's another day. Oh, Saturday. I was technically correct, wasn't I? So today we're working on the muscles that bring people in. Tomorrow we go, hey, who the fuck are you?
Oh. Okay. I feel like today's the nicer.
But then after that we train legs, which means we ambulate away from the people. To new people, then we train pull, we bring them in.
Okay.
Then we train push, we push those people away.
Okay.
Analogy.
So it's like
We're training for dating.
fawn, fight, and flee.
Yes, fawn, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Typically, the best way to pick up people at the club is to approach them and I suppose not even request a hug. It's kind of just motion towards hugging. Like, you're at the club, I'm at the club, ready?
Are you okay?
I don't want my friend to be fucking sad or whatever.
Sure.
So
Turns out your friend wanted to be sad.
you actually elected. So
Hey, yo. What's up with you, girl? Crystal, can you open it?
the most emasculating thing in the world. This is the can you get that jar for me, honey?
Yeah.
But in reverse.
Oh, yeah. Huh.
The only thing that I ever get questions for is what's your forearm routine?
Yeah, genetics.
Never, ever done direct forearm work.
Yeah.
Never.
Until
once,
today.
Ever.
Until today.
Here we go. Imagine
go.
if I suck at this. Imagine if fucking these almost, which they almost certainly will, suck. So, what are we doing? Okay.
However many you can, and then 2 sets to match that. Good. Bigger range of motion. Really come up.
We might have to drop weight.
You're good, you're good, you're good. Big ass forearms.
Fucking,
There you go.
fucking genetics, dude.
Well, the genetics mean them big. They have contractile properties.
Yeah, but no CNS.
Wake up, motherfucker. That's it, huh?
Yep.
All right.
Oh, feeling it. That being said,
Luckily, just a few sets of 8 for your genetics will
felt
be
it a
just
lot
fine.
on those upright rows really fucking smoked him.
Sure.
So I was feeling that kind of already.
15, I gotta get to 25.
All right. Dig in then.
God, this gym is fucking awesome. Collective in Austin, Texas, unreal. The oiling of this machine is just it's so smooth.
Yep.
A lot of times you try to do these and you're like,
Yep.
This is awesome.
Yep. And it's like, pip, 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 pip,
Yeah,
pip,
the
pip,
worst.
pip, pip,
And then you have no eccentric load at all. Yes, finish. And then slow. Good.
Range of motion is so little. It's
Yeah.
like a controlled eccentric. It's fucking hilarious.
For real.
Come on.
One last set of 8.
Oh.
You got a pump?
Oh yeah, yeah. Like, okay,
Ooh,
so
so bulbous.
question: big arms, small shoulders, makes people look kind of a bit fat.
Fat, interesting.
But like big shoulders, okay sized arms. I think when people think that they want big arms, what they actually want is big shoulders. So you know when you've got like those dudes who have got like fucking like really chunky biceps and triceps and not the delts to match.
Something's missing.
And it looks like just from the side because the arms sort of like fall into the body. That's what I mean. I think when people think they want big arms, what they probably want is big shoulders with like okay arms. And when you actually spend fucking tons of time just training biceps and triceps, you end up with this weird like sort of like power builder build thing. Like it's just not, it doesn't stink of like superhero.
Yeah. Superheroes are made of delts. And once you have big shoulders, I think you can experiment with what size of arms can accentuate that look or not. But having small shoulders and big arms can be a cool look, but a lot of times it distinctly looks like something.
I think it looks fucking.
Or at the very least, in a tank top, it can look cool. But if you're in a t-shirt, you're kind of fucked.
Fucking sucks. Yeah, because it's cutting off like here or whatever.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Folks, it's been real as hell. Chris has his podcast is called Modern Wisdom. It's available on all the podcasting platforms, but it's also on YouTube. Tons of clips, tons of full episodes on YouTube. I mean, Chris is just like perhaps the greatest conversationalist of our era, probably. And I don't know any other conversationalists of any other era, so Chris is the best. And he's just always talking to super fucking interesting people about super interesting shit. You listen to his podcast long enough, it'll get you to clean up your life, get you laid maybe. Not with someone attractive, but someone who cares about you. Maybe they don't care, but they're there. Maybe they're not there, but you're at least thinking about them. I've been Mike, this is Chris. I'll see you guys next time.